Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome the fuck back. What's up, gang? Hey, neighbor. How y'all doing? If you don't know where you are, this is Gregory the podcast, season two. I'm your host, Gregory, and welcome to my ministry. First off, y'all know what to do. Grab your chapstick, grab your water. Um, I don't know. I think I might make this one a quick one because we're wrapping the year up. Um, and what a year it has been. So, how are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? How's it going? How's the planning? Those of you who have businesses, how's the fourth quarter going? Are you already ready for the first quarter? Um, Content girlies, have you mapped your stuff out? My creatives, are you ready to go? The new year will be here by tomorrow, I promise. Um, that being said, today's topic that I wanted to get into, and I know there's like plenty of pop culture topics that I've been like skipping over, but today's topic I wanted to talk about was um showing up in the world as yourself or showing up in society as yourself and like some of the pros and cons that come with that. Specifically showing up, one, in the world as yourself, and then two, showing up for yourself, especially during this time when I know there's literally like 3 days left and 2023, but a lot can happen in 72 hours. A lot can happen in 72 hours. So when we talk about showing up for yourself or showing up as yourself in society, let's start there. When we talk about showing up as yourself in society, what I mean is like don't let society tell you who you are. You That's not the way the game works. Society, community, your parents, none of them get to tell you, oh, you like this. But I don't. Babes, but I don't. So I'm trying to figure out a way to put this where it doesn't seem like people are getting mm, taps on their shoulder. Like, hey, niece, I'm talking to you. But whatever. Okay, so here we go. Lately in my personal life, I've come into a bit of a situation where I'm understanding that like because I show up or because I like to show up authentically as myself when I meet people, when I'm out of society, when I'm at different events or different functions, when people come into contact with me, I just like to show up as myself. And I tell people who I am from the jump. I'm a bad bitch. I'm Big Daddy. Like I'm a vibe. Like you either fuck with me or you don't. Like it's really there's really no in between when it comes to me. Like it's just either you're like I fucks with it or you're like please get this motherfucker out of here. Um, but the problem with like showing up as you are and not as society tells me I should behave is a few things. One, people are often looking to see if I'm standing on business. Am I who I say I am? And again, I talked about this in the last episode where like there's so many people who are so convinced in finding fraud. They're so they're just so used to it that being honest with some people and telling them who you are and telling them what your boundaries are or anything of that matter, it kind of has them confused in a way. Um, And when I say confused, it really is confused because like a lot of people want to test those boundaries. They want to challenge that character. They want to find the fraud in it so they could just be like, you're just like everybody else. And not that there is a bad thing, not that it's a bad thing to be like everybody else, but it's the condescending kind of situation that comes with it when you're like, when people are like, you're so deeply unhappy with yourself that you are willing to make it seem like everybody else is unhappy. A lot of people are not used to coming into contact with people who are genuinely happy with themselves, who don't hate themselves, who who who've done the work to not hate themselves, who've done the work to take care of the things they didn't feel secure about, the things they felt insecure in, the who have just worked on themselves, who put in the time to work on themselves and handle themselves. And I'm not saying that everybody's not doing that right now. What I'm saying is when you do that, when you're on that path, when you're doing that, when you're working on yourself, and you are just finally deciding to show up authentically in the world as who you are, or whoever you want to tell the world you are, whoever you want to show up as, is it kind of it bothers the fuck out of people. It bothers the fuck out of people. Mostly because they haven't done the work themselves or they haven't worked on themselves. And I'm not saying at all, but like, we're in that day and age where spirituality and religion and all of that kind of takes its turn trending, and the healing and the shadow work, the healing, the working on yourselves. It kind of takes its turn trending. So no one ever, like, a lot of people are not actually completing the process. They're starting it and then they're like, girl, this not really giving what it's supposed to be gave. This not really the tea. This not really the situation. And it's totally understandable. It's totally understandable. This shit's hard. It sucks. Every day's not a good fucking day. Like, I literally just had a situation where, like, I felt like I followed every step. I felt like I was obedient. I felt like I was obedient to spirit. I was obedient to the ancestors, to God, everybody. And then, like, all of a sudden something didn't work out in my favor. Something that I feel like I hadn't planned for, like a shift happened and something didn't work out in my favor. And I was like, now what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, I felt like I was being punished. Like, well, what the fuck? What well, how did we get here? What is this? What the hell is this? And I kind of had to, of course, call in my friend, but like I had to take the time to be like, okay, everything's not gonna work out in your favor because sometimes it's just not time to yet, right? But like connecting that back to the topic at hand, like some people are like not doing the work because you do get to points where like you're like, I followed all the instructions, I did everything, I did this, I did X, I did Y, I did Z. Like, I connected all the dots, I colored in the pictures, I woke up on time, I didn't cuss a bitch out, I didn't do this, that, and the third, and I'm still not getting it. It does get frustrating. However, I'm a big fan of not showing up to fuck up another person's day. So sometimes what you're encountering is people who are like, they see you showing up and they see you have done the work and they think, bitch, you couldn't have done it because I couldn't do it. And then they feel the need to like want to bring you back down is what it is a lot of times. And they want to bring you back down. So they tell you like how you should show up in society, how you should look in the community, how you should behave for the kind of man you are, for the kind of woman you are, for what people have before you have done. And the truth of the matter is if that shit don't work for you, like it's never gonna work. Like, ah, if the truth of the matter is if that shit doesn't work for you, if you've tried the old ways, you've tried to show up as the way society, because sometimes we do. Sometimes we let society whoop our ass around and we're just like, fine, girl, I'll be whatever you need me to be. And then you're severely and deeply unhappy with yourself because a bitch who was also unhappy with themselves has you out here doing some crazy shit that don't fit the schematics, babes. It don't fit the blueprint. And like I'm trying to be nice about it, but like that's the it kind of pisses me off because instead of I guess because of the kind of person I am, I guess me personally, like I'm a stand-up kind of shorty. So like if there's something you can do that I'm having trouble with, I hate to ask for help. I do. I despise it. But eventually I'll get down and get those shits and be like, okay, girl, help. I need your help. Like I do. Help me. Instead, these bitches want to be like, are you sure? Because no one else is, I don't care what everybody else is doing. Hear me and hear me clearly. Look for your neighbor. Say, hey, neighbor. We don't give a fuck what nobody else is doing because your neighbor's business is not your own. And that'd be the problem when it comes to showing up is you show up as yourself and all of a sudden you're everybody's business. And I personally, I'm always so confused by that because me showing up as my authentic self automatically, now you have a problem. Babe, focus on paying the mortgage, focus on paying your rent, focus on making yourself happy. But that's not what those people want to do. So again, showing up as yourself, it has its pros. Yes, you are happier. Yes, you are fulfilled. But some of the cons to that is there's always going to be a bitch who wants to bring you down, who wants to clock the T, who wants to find the fraud, find the flaw, find the fraud, find the flaw in your design, in who you are. And it's because they're truly not happy with themselves. They don't have it. They feel like this shit's rigged against them. And when you're down like that and in that victim mindset of, well, I couldn't do it, so nobody else could be. It turns you into a hater. And y'all know how I feel about that. I don't like being a hater. I don't even like nobody to even refer to me and like no hating ass, like, oh, that bitch was hating on me. Never. I could never. And I think that's why it bothers me so much when we go out and we're minding our business and people are just, oh, why do they dress like that? Why they got that on? Why they out here holding hands? What about the children? Girl, please. Please. I say all that to say, like, they're going to be out there. And there's nothing you can do about it. So rather than not put your best foot forward to avoid it, show up. Show up as who you are. Show up as authentically as possible. Because why are you sending a representative? For what? For what? When I was obviously in the workforce, I used to show up as myself authentically in the workforce, and people hated it because they're like, oh, they don't like all this laughter and chit chat. What are they gonna do? Tell us to shut up? Y'all hoes is miserable in here. Y'all don't want to tell a jokey joke? And that be the thing, people be miserable. In their soul, deep in their soul, they be miserable. Don't show up as yourself. If nothing else, show up as yourself for yourself. And I think that's why a lot of people get like so depressed around this time, around the holiday time, because that's what we need to be focusing on, is showing up for ourselves, showing up as ourselves for ourselves. Especially in this this weird ass, if you're happy, you can't really be happy unless we see you on the internet and we can prove. It's so weird because like you trying to verify somebody's happiness is just wild to me. Verifying another bitch happiness is just wild to me. I'm sorry. I can't even like scapegoat it. Like it's just wild ass behavior. And personally, I think that like we're not doing enough of that. And I think that's why so many people are unhappy, is we're not showing up authentically as ourselves. We're not showing up for ourselves. Like you have to, I don't want to keep saying like you have to do the work, but you have to do the work. You've got to put the time in. You've got to invest and find what are your favorites, what are your likes, what are your dislikes, what are your boundaries, what sits well, what resonates with you, what triggers your spirit, what doesn't sit well in your spirit, what even down to the like, even down into the like the real regular shit, like how am I showing up on the day to day? Like some of y'all don't even know how y'all showing up on the day to day. Y'all think y'all are showing up as like divine feminine energy, and you coming off as a whole masculine. Ma'am, you're a boy. The streets think you're a boy, sir. Sir, they don't think you're a man, but you're just a little soft like me. We're one of the no shade, no tea. But figure out how you guys are showing up in the world. Figure out how you want to show up in the world. I think because people are not doing that kind of work, you obviously can't show up for yourself in that manner if you're not even being authentic to who you are or who you want to be. If some of y'all can't even get the simplest things down, like what you like and what you don't like. Hence why you're ending up in relationships with people you clearly don't like and who don't like you. Never mind. Carrying on. But also, like, I think that because there's so few days left in this year, and I see so many people who are not showing up for themselves. They haven't done things, or not. They haven't done things, but they've taken a couple losses this year. They took a couple losses this year, and they just haven't. It just almost seems like they haven't recovered. And sometimes it's not that they haven't recovered; they haven't tried to. You have to try to get up off the ground sometimes. And sometimes some of the girlies are just they're so comfortable down there. They're just so comfortable in defeat. I started this podcast a few months ago, and here I am, season two, a couple episodes into season two. And like, I haven't been consistent the whole time. I haven't always felt like showing up. I haven't always had something to say to show up. But never, never have I like just like took that energy, sat with it, and was miserable and started bashing other podcasts before it. And I know like podcasting is just like a small segue, but I really want y'all to hear what I'm saying. Like a lot of y'all be upset because you feel like you took a loss, feel like you took a failure, something's not going right in your life. Sometimes you gotta take that loss, and then you gotta pick your ass up off the ground. And it don't get me wrong, it's hard. It's hard to do, and everybody's not gonna want to do it. And sometimes you gotta do it by yourself. But I think the more we get used to picking ourselves up off the ground, the more we get used to picking ourselves up when we take these leaps and we take these losses, we find ourselves more showing up more authentic. We find ourselves showing up and being proud of those losses. We find ourselves showing up and being proud of those failures. And I think the people who are really bothered by this stuff are the people who don't take those risks. They don't take those leaps. They don't take those failures. They don't take the chances to make those failures. And it's okay. It's okay. When you're ready, you'll do it. But my whole thing is like, as the year is closing out, think about the things that you have accomplished in this year. Think about how you showed up for yourself, how you started your projects, you put your passion out there, whether that be something as small to you as like, damn, I finally cleaned out this closet. Damn, I got rid of some of this stuff. I donated to whatever fund, whatever charity. I started a new project. You worked on the car, whatever that is. Those losses and those wins from those situations taught you so much about yourself that you feel comfortable making those leaps again, or not necessarily the same leaps, but like making a leap again. You're comfortable with the idea that you might fail again, and it's because like you truly showed up and you tried. You were okay with the idea that like, damn, this didn't work the first time, but you know what? You came back. You showed up to work again. And again, there's so many people out there not doing it. There's so many people out there not doing it. And it's not like me knocking at them. What this is like me saying, you're going to meet a whole lot more of them than the people who are showing up, getting off the ground every day. Because it's hard to get up off the ground. It's very easy to lay on the ground and bring a bitch down there with you. And a lot of times That's what people want to do. So this is why I'm saying show up for yourself. Show up as yourself and for yourself. Get yourself through these last few days of this year, because whether you know it or not, you did this. You made it. It's time to wrap this shit up. Obviously there's still time. There's still time for greatness to happen in your life if you still need it. There's still time for blessings to show up if you're still waiting. It's never too late. But on the other hand, go ahead and prepare yourself for the new year. It's coming. It's here. So I don't know. It's hard sometimes. Um, but my here over here. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, girl, over here, y'all know, at Gregory the Podcast, aka the Spiritual Ghetto. If you know, you know. Um, our ministry is love. Like, we move in love. I want everybody to eat, and I tell y'all that all the time. Everybody to eat. I want everybody to win. So that being said, I want y'all to go outside. And get down in the comments and tell me about your favorite project this year, your favorite accomplishment this year, your favorite moment when you felt like you've showed up as yourself this year. Um, yeah. Whether you're on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, I think it's Apple Podcasts, my bad. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spotify. Catch me where you catch me, baby. Because if you don't know where you've been, this has been Gregory the Podcast. I'm your host, Gregory, and this has been my ministry. Thanks. Ah.